For every 5-star movie starring a YouTuber, there's also one that is widely regarded as a 1-star. Starting with the Ryan's World movie, a film that was destined for success, yet somehow the numbers told a different story. On November 23rd, 2023, Ryan's World, a 38 million subscriber kids channel, unwrapped its biggest project yet. Ryan's family was so excited about the movie that they went all in on promotions, even organizing a meetup with hundreds of fans attending. The hype was undeniable, and Ryan's family was confident the movie would be a massive success. But then, the release day arrived.
You need us! She has a point! How is this for a point?
As for the few viewers who saw the movie, they were disappointed and even compared it to a popular children's show, with critics pointing out an even bigger problem. This cinematic junk is what happens when underage YouTube stars with no acting talent have parents who pay for the family to star in a vanity movie motivated by greed, to which famous content creators agree.
He's been doing this for 10 years now, and is a teenager, yet his parents won't let him retire and just be a kid.
And despite its ambitious $10 million budget, the film made less than $650,000 at the box office and is now sitting at 1.9 stars on IMDb. In stark contrast, both of Dude Perfect's documentaries achieved an impressive 6.8 out of 10. On May 12, 2020, Dude Perfect released their first documentary, giving an unfiltered look into the group's rise to fame.
What you see is what you get. They're the same guys when the camera's not rolling.
The documentary ended up inspiring over 50 million people and motivated Dude Perfect to release a second one, which premiered on ESPN in August 2024.
I think the thing that you got to be careful of is only showing the good things and the positives and not being vulnerable. For a long time, I remember we never wanted to show the misses.
Titled A Very Long Shot, the documentary followed Dude Perfect's attempt at a world record basketball shot while revealing their perspective on life's failures.
And then
it was over. I don't expect anyone to ever talk about or mention them again. They're just forgettable garbage.
But while the Fred trilogy bombed for making audiences question why they were watching, A Heist with Markiplier earned a 9.1 out of 10 for dragging his audience into something illegal.
All right, we're in. You know the plan, right? What am I saying? You practically wrote it.
In this film, viewers become Markiplier's heist assistant, tasked with helping him steal an ancient box from a heavily secured vault. And at first, everything seems to be going according to plan.
This is really it? This is what we've been working towards all those years. It's finally ours.
And just when the audience thought things couldn't get any more intense...
Okay, I see two ways out of here. There just so happens to be a sewer that runs directly beneath this vault. We could either go through the sewer all sneaky-like, or we could go out guns blazing.
And just like that, A Heist with Markiplier switches from a simple heist story into one you control. With 61 videos branching into 31 possible endings, every decision shaped the outcome, making each experience unique for fans. Being able to choose your own path made the trip so much more involved and exciting, and some of the endings were so unpredictable, I'm honestly a little scared to ask how Mark came up with them.
very
scary stuff right here.
Nothing is real.
Everyone's gonna freak out.
The disgrace was not there before. I swear to God. The word disgrace popped up out of nowhere and killed me.
Disgrace.
I swear to God. Was that there before when I was running that in practice, dude?
Fucking beat it. Oh my god.
Oh my god.
No fucking way. I almost got it 10 fucking times. Random trigger.
No! No, I lost. I just lost the game.
Are you okay?
No, dude. I literally could have beaten it right there.
Yeah, okay, I didn't die. Ryan, it's Satch Cup revenge time.
Three, 2, 1, go.
Wait, Pest, you have like a random out just in the middle.
Oh, I do.
Yeah.
Wait,
Yeah, Brian's out. Blurps out 26 doesn't fucking work if you do it too fast. That's so stupid.
Brian knows 71. I think it's over for him.
Just bro beat it.
Bro wins. Just bro wins the tournament. There it is, guys. We successfully pulled that off. There, it was a little bumpy, I'm not gonna lie, but I want to know what you guys thought about that. I thought it was pretty cool. I think if we ever did it again, I would definitely make some of the demons harder because we kind of breeze through those. I think that a lot of really cool stuff could come out of there. I will definitely try to do one of those again. Getting third myself was pretty fun. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm gonna continue doing roulette streams next week. I really appreciate you guys watching. I will see you later.
In a row. Usually once I got through the first 2 clicks, I could kind of lock in and get through the whole part. But those first 2 clicks really got me, man. 71 deaths at the first click and 46 at the second. On to the next part. Meet the other wave part. Okay, so if you're anything like me, you're watching this part right now thinking, hey, that doesn't look too bad. You have like a full 2 blocks of space to fit in and it's only at 1x speed. And you'd be right, this part isn't hard. I completely agree, and every part of me agrees, except my finger that would just keep clicking wrong and dying for no reason in this easy freaking wave part, dying a collective of like 72 times, 30 of which were specifically at this 47% wave release. Remind you of anything? The fact that I struggled that much with this wave part really goes to show that I am a very weak wave player. That's definitely going to turn into an issue when I try to beat levels like Sonic Wave in the future because, you know, it's literally called Sonic Wave. There's a lot of really hard wave gameplay, and I suck at the wave, so look forward to that. You'll be happy to know that I also struggled tremendously with the cube part immediately after the wave. This saw blade right here, 15 deaths. This triple spike right here, 12 deaths. And it doesn't stop there, because once you get to 65%, the most awkward UFO part of all.
Diamond Hands always win, and then tweeted again, fire sale. That same day, he sold 3 times for over $1 million. The next day, while tweeting about an all-time high, he said, I feel bad for everyone who sold again. His next tweet, I feel bad for everyone who sold. And then this, well, I'm holding. That same day, he sold 3 times again for over $500,000.
To give you an idea of just how effective this was, according to CopyZilla's calculations, Ben pocketed a whopping $12 million by scamming his viewers with a crypto token that had no future. And while he tried to keep this operation completely under wraps, he wasn't able to stop himself from bragging about his newfound wealth on Instagram.
And once Ben Phillips started making millions of dollars in such a short period of time, what does he do with that money? He starts spending it on stupid luxury items and bragging about it on Instagram. Of course. For example, on May 21st, a month after making millions from pump and dumps, Ben Phillips suddenly buys his dream car, a quote, top of the fleet Rolls Royce. A month later, Ben is chartering private jets to Scotland for a birthday bike with his girlfriend of 3 years. He also can be seen bragging on Instagram about eating steak wrapped in 24-karat gold.
A comment under CopyZilla's video also pointed out that unregulated markets such as stock exchanges, a misconduct like this qualifies as market manipulation and is sanctioned by fines and prison sentences. Unfortunately, the laws surrounding crypto still haven't caught up to the modern climate. So Ben Phillips did not receive any legal repercussions after getting thoroughly exposed by CopyZilla. That said, his career as a whole has certainly fallen down the drain. There was a time when Ben was getting millions of views per video within days of its upload. In contrast, his most recent videos are struggling to crack the 100,000 views.
In July of 2020, Daniel was charged with murder, and he and his legal team were hard at work to get that changed. His original sentence was up to 4 years in state prison. But a month later, this was reduced, and the tattoo artist was sentenced to 365 days in the county jail, along with 250 hours of community service and 5 years of probation. It was later revealed that it was Corey's family that asked for these charges to be reduced. A few months later, Daniel broke his silence regarding the entire incident, issuing a formal apology to Corey's fans, family, and loved ones.
I want to start off by saying how sorry I am for all the pain that everybody's going through. I'm sorry to Corey. I'm sorry to Corey's friends and family, and I'm really sorry to Corey's fans.
As of March 2023, Daniel has returned to YouTube and uploads consistently. Daniel isn't hurting anyone anymore with his videos, but for other YouTubers, I cannot say the same. But while Daniel may wield a tattoo gun, Mr. Anime uses the real version. Dark fantasies brought to life. The anime community on YouTube has grown to be one of the biggest and most engaged on the platform. But back in the early days of the site, it wasn't always like that. One of the pioneers of this niche was a YouTuber by the name of Mr. Anime, or Trey Eric Sessler. Having joined back in 2006, Trey was considered one of the more popular content creators with over 1 million views on the channel, which was way more impressive back then. Before he pivoted his channel toward anime, he'd been known as...
Wind the music box and listen very carefully. In vanilla, Chica was dealt with through the global music box and wasn't a threat whatsoever, but in deluxe we actually have to play her mechanic. Chica's mechanic is simple on paper, but in my opinion is the hardest mechanic to deal with in deluxe. If Chica is happy, you'll hear pots and pans banging in the background, and if she's not, you won't hear anything. If Chica is unhappy, you have to change the music to keep her from jump scaring you, but if you change the music while she's happy, she also just jump scares you. This would be fine. However, there are two key problems with deluxe that make this mechanic so difficult. The first of which is the actual audio file that the game uses for the pots and pans sound effect. Chica's pots and pans sound is a continuously looping 11-second audio clip. However, the last 1.5 seconds of this file are silent in order to have the clip repeat. So sometimes you'll be listening for Chica during this 1 to 2 seconds of silence, and you'll think, oh wow, that's dead silence, I should probably change the music, and then you die because she was still happy. The other problem is that so much is happening in deluxe with the amount of doors you're shutting and cameras that you're selecting that it's really hard to hear the subtle pots and pans over all of it. Like here, let's do a quick test. Can you hear the pots and pans?
That fit so well! That fit in! That fit in so fucking well! I thought that was in the video!
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, move it. 7, 8, move it. 9. God, my fucking God, my fucking God, my fucking God. My fucking God, that's 1 in 512! Though I started to realize something. Through playing FNAF 3, 5, and 6 over and over again, I was starting to get better at those 3 games. So I thought about changing the order around for day 3. At this point, I was almost never losing in Sister Location, and rarely losing in FNAF 6. I was playing FNAF 3 as perfect as I possibly could be, but the RNG was still unavoidable, so that had to stay as the first game. But instead of playing Sister Location in 6 right after 3, I'd instead play 2 right after 3. With the new order of 3, 2, 5, 6, 4, 1, I knew that if I could just get past the big 4, this challenge would finally be over. With my new order, I got off for the day and would pick it back up on day 3. Day 3 started off showing once again why I am the unluckiest FNAF player to ever touch these games, and it was really starting to wear me down. Literally, take a look at what was happening in FNAF 3. I was reaching my breaking point, and I honestly didn't know if I could continue this challenge any further. The big 4 was genuinely starting to look impossible. Now, throughout this video, I've always talked about the big 4 or getting through the big 4, but I haven't explained my FNAF 4 in
with the end goal of hopefully becoming a millionaire before we burn up in our inevitable fate. This challenge not only requires immense skill in every part of this game, but also a ton of patience and a lot of planning and routing. With that said, let's get into the rules of this challenge, and there's really only one. We have to finish the game with as much money as possible saved up, and hopefully we can reach my coveted millionaire status. I knew going into this challenge that I had to start saving as much money as possible from the very start, and that this would be a very long trial and error process until I truly had the best possible route figured out. And the routing for this game starts early, and by early, I literally mean before you even open the game. When FNAF 6 was first released, it was meant to be a surprise that it was actually an official FNAF game. So when first booting up the game, you were met with a simple 8-bit minigame where you were feeding children some pizza. This
Yes!
demo salvage sequence for the official game would then start.
Fuck!
Typically, you're given $100 in starting cash on the first day, but that won't get a fire rate, and he'll always spawn in the location that is the furthest away from you. When he pops, he'll award a whopping 10,000 points, then split into 2 JJs. Then, taking out these JJs will finally end the minigame. Now, most players would beat this minigame once, say something along the lines of, "Wow, that was horrible, I never want to do that again," and move on with their life.
What's the most annoying game? And it's so inconsistent. So that's what happened with the anti-gravity vortex. I would not recommend having that game. 28,000.
But unfortunately, in order to succeed in this challenge, we're going to have to become the best Gravity Vortex players the FNAF community has ever seen. And I do mean that quite literally. When I first started brainstorming ideas for this challenge, I knew that I was going to have to get good at Gravity Vortex. So I booted it up and began to try and craft some strategies. It took me around 20 attempts to get my first ever win, and I knew that that kind of win rate wasn't going to generate any profit. So somehow, I needed to find a way to drastically increase the consistency of the minigame. The first thing that I noticed, and one of the best tips that I can give, is to know your hitbox and the hitbox of enemies. You may think that the moment a projectile or enemy collides with your ship, you'll lose. But in a moment of mercy when creating this minigame, Scott decided to shrink your hitbox to only be a small square in the dead center of Helpy's pod. This is why stuff like this, and this is possible. Knowing exactly where your true hitbox is super important for when you have to pull off super tight dodges. Even though your hitbox has been decreased, enemy hitboxes are the exact same as their model. If your hitbox gets clipped by even the topmost pixel of a balloon from a balloon boy, you will lose. But even with the knowledge of these hitboxes, I still couldn't seem to find a way to get wins consistently. Sure, I could get past the first 3 phases with some sort of consistency, maybe like 40%, but I would just get swarmed so fast in phase 4, and I really couldn't do anything about it. I'd try to
engage into it. He was blowing the shit out of that coin.
Last 24 hours was crazy. The next 24 will be crazy. Family's growing fast.
It went to 30 million when I woke up. So I woke up 7 hours later, it's 30 million. One of my wallets had a 10 sol purchase at 200,000 market cap. I woke up and that wallet was automatically at $300,000 value. I woke up, I sold immediately at 30 million market cap. And then I called up the guy and I said, did the wire go? And he's like, no, the wire didn't really go yet. Like, it's gonna hit on Monday. I was like, is there a way we can reverse it? And he's like, yeah, I can do a chargeback. I was like, let's do a chargeback. And then we did a chargeback on the 350 that we were initially giving him.
That's bad.
Just because.
Yeah, but you made over 350. You made over 350 on that coin, right?
I made over $1 million on.
So why are you rebutting the wire?
It was the dude tried to finish me, and I was like, you don't really. I was arrogant. I was like, you don't finish the finisher, so I was like, let me finish you more.
I will say, it is breathtaking just how many celebrity coins there were and how much backstabbing was involved. We'll go through a few of them though right here.
Didn't you do Bobby Althoff at some point? I saw her.
I did Bobby Althoff. I also did Eddie Russ indirectly. He found out he blocked me. I'm still blocked. So yeah.
Wait, how'd you do? How much do you pay? Because I think Bobby did like what an Instagram. That's the girl who did an interview with Drake or something.
The Bobby Althoff, I spoke to her directly. I offered her $60,000 for a tweet, but she didn't have a Twitter, so we did a story with just to see it. That was my first time trying see on Instagram, seeing if it works or not, and that did good too. But then so I kind of didn't really pay her the whole thing. So I kind of paid her 50%, and I said I'll pay you the rest when you post. She posted. The coin started going good. It was like a 2 million market cap. I logged it, and then I didn't pay her. She blocked me after finding out that it's her coin.
Now I did try to fact check this.
Engineer with his prior vlogs. Sadly, Patrick's reputation was about to take a turn for the worse, as someone in this community decided to take a closer look at what exactly he was promoting. On the 8th of November 2019, a YouTuber by the name of Vlacc published a video titled Tech Lead and Jomatech, the worst of the tech industry, which meant to showcase and criticize the unsavory parts of Tech Lead's businesses.
You want to learn how to become a sellout? As in ex-Google, ex-Facebook, ex-married millionaire tech lead, this man sells snake oil with enough affiliate marketing to set off an ad blocker. I used to watch a lot of JomaTech. I mean, I even sent him this email. But times have changed, and today I'll show you why JomaTech, Tech Lead, and their products are utter garbage.
Trend went on to expose how Tech Lead and JomaTech had teamed up to copy the product of their former sponsor, Algo Expert, while offering an inferior product.
It's been brought to our attention that for the past week or so, there's been this domain out there that is using the Algo Expert brand, but that isn't algoexpert.io. And when you type that domain or URL in your browser, you get redirected to some completely different website that we are in